This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris. Welcome to Easy Entertaining. Chinese takeout is great for when you're in a hurry, but if you want to have friends and family in for a nice, easy Chinese dinner that you make yourself, this noodle soup and lettuce wrapped chicken is delicious. Let's start by getting the chicken lettuce wraps going. We're going to first start by getting a pan real hot and adding a little bit of canola oil. And then I got some packages of chicken tenders. They're breast meat that have been cut into strips. So if you can't find the tenders, you can take just regular breast meat and cut them into thin strips like this. And we're going to brown those off. Now while the chicken is browning, we're going to get our sauce going. And I'm going to start by getting 1/3 cup of soy sauce in a measuring cup and adding 1/3 cup of brown sugar and 1/2 cup of water. Then I'm going to add a tablespoon of ketchup, and I'm going to add some dry sherry, about 1/4 cup. And then to give this a little spice, I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes and a clove of garlic that's minced. And then I'm going to slice up 1 green onion and I'm going to add that to the sauce. And then I'm just going to use a little whisk and mix that all together. Now once the sauce is done, go ahead and go back to the chicken, flip it over. It should have a nice brown side to it now. And then we're going to take that sauce and we're going to pour it all over the chicken. And then we're going to put a lid on this and let it simmer on a low heat. Now you can let this simmer from anywhere from 20 minutes to 45 minutes and it will be fine. You will want to every now and then just go have a peek like this and just make sure that all the pieces are cooking nicely in that sauce. Now during the time the chicken is cooking, we're going to put together our noodle soup. So the key to this noodle soup is to find some frozen pot stickers at the store. And once you have that, you don't have to defrost them or anything, but get a non-stick pan and get it on medium-high heat, and then add about 1/4 teaspoon of hot chili oil and about a teaspoonful of sesame oil. And we'll add that to the pan and get that oil nice and hot. Then you take your pot stickers, and they're still frozen, and you put them in the pan. And you're going to want to get a pair of tongs because when they initially hit the pan, they're going to kind of be all over the place. And you want that flat side of the pot sticker to be on the bottom of the pan. That's the part that's going to get brown. And it'll take about a minute for these to brown. And once you get that kind of nice brown on it, what you're going to do is you're going to take just 3 tablespoons of water, pour that in the pan, and quickly put a lid on. Turn the heat down to low and put your timer on for about 5 minutes. Now, while the pot stickers are steaming, you're going to want to get a stock pot out, and we're going to make the broth part of the soup. And for this, I'm going to use about 8 cups of chicken broth. And have your heat on high because we want this broth to get hot. And then I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of white pepper and a couple of handfuls of grated carrot. And then I also like to put in some sliced mushrooms, and I like to get the sliced baby portobellos, but get whatever you can. I use about 4 handfuls of mushrooms. And then to add some green to this soup, I get some of the baby bok choys, and I just slice those up. I love the green color and the crunch that they give to this soup. So once you have those sliced up, go ahead and pop those into the broth pot. And then I also like to slice up 3 scallions or 3 green onions and use the whole thing, the whites and the greens, and put that all in the pot as well. And then just give this all a stir up to get those veggies starting to cook. So our pot stickers are done, and you can see they're nice and brown on the bottom but steamed on the top. And then we're just going to take those and pop them into our soup broth. Then turn your heat down to low, and you can just let that soup sit until you're ready to serve. Now, while your soup is staying warm, we're going to want to finish off our chicken by making a slurry, which is about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and about a tablespoon of cold water. And we're going to mix that together, and we're going to add that to the chicken, and it's going to thicken the sauce. The key to using cornstarch is the liquid you're putting it in needs to be boiling so that it will cook that cornstarch and thicken that sauce. Now, while the chicken is thickening, we're going to take some iceberg lettuce that we've cleaned and dried because you don't want the leaves to be super wet. And we're going to unfold them, and we want to have these little cups. Now, you'll notice I'm taking a leaf and I'm kind of breaking it down a little bit because we don't want them to be huge. And we're going to take and put these on a plate. Now, the reason you want to be careful of the size of these lettuce cups is because this is what we're going to be holding as we're eating this chicken dish. So you want to make sure that it's handy enough and small enough for your guests to hang on to. Now, when you're ready to serve, go get your chicken, and you're just going to want to put a piece or two on each of these lettuce cups. There should be plenty of sauce already coating the chicken, so you don't really need to add any more sauce onto it. But you want to make sure that this is right before you eat because we don't want the lettuce to wilt. We want it to stay nice and crispy. Now, as a finishing touch, just take a little sesame seed and kind of sprinkle on top of each of these pieces of chicken, and you really have a lovely, lovely dinner. We'll just spoon up some of that noodle soup, and you serve that along with these chicken lettuce wraps, and your guests will be very, very pleased. Now, for dessert, one of the things I love is mango sorbet. So you can take just a couple of little balls of mango sorbet, and I'm serving these tonight with some almond tea cookies, which you can get from one of my other podcasts, The Cookie Jar, and they are a wonderful ending to this Chinese dinner. For more information on this episode, go to our website and visit the Easy Entertaining show notes. Also, if you have any questions or ideas for us, send us an email. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Want to see what's going on behind the scenes at Harwood Podcast Network? Maybe you want to know what's going on with your favorite shows. You can follow us by going to twitter.com/Harwood Podcast. We have daily entries, photos, all kinds of behind the scenes info. We'll see you on Twitter.